in 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Vanessa the Vivacious Files. Whether this episode finds you in the morning, afternoon, or evening, I am so glad that you're here. As you know, we've been recording every single day in addition to having a challenge with Riverside, or a challenge as I call it. We issued a soft challenge ages ago in which we test the Riverside platform and then give feedback, and we do this every day. So with that being said, let's head over to Vanessa the Vivacious versus Riverside and get after it. And welcome everyone to Vanessa the Vivacious versus Riverside. Yay, we're back. I took a quick break just because I just needed a break, but this is something very cool that I just found. So as you can see, I like to kind of finagle around when it comes to backgrounds and logos and stuff. And I like to put the text in between these audio waves. So I'm very thoughtful and mindful about where I place things. However, I've been complaining for a little while about lower thirds and Riverside not having lower thirds. However, I realized that over here in your little Ninja suite, you have text option. And when you click that, you can create a text, right? A new text style, go with something they have, make something color and saucy. And what I can do in theory is that I can take this one and I can run it across this way. I can put their name here. I could put my name in the same lower third section, or I can create a new one. And then they run side by side, just like they would if I was placing another asset on my timeline. So let's try that real quick. So I'm going to take this one here and I'm going to write Seth Rome. That's the guest name. And I'm going to make it smaller. And I wonder what that means. That's just the text style. Okay. So you and I are checking this out together, just so you know. I've never done it before. However, I just saw it and I was like, ooh, we need this. We need this right now. We need to see if we can get it. So let's see. I'm also going to see if I can move it. All right, excellent, good so far. Place that right here. And then I'm going to do my name. Okay. And let's see about making her smaller, if it allows me to. Yeah, okay, here we go. We're just going to move me over here. Hopefully that's lined up pretty good. Nope. Need to move it a little bit. Let's see about now. Come on, get off. Yeah, it's all right. Let me see if my arrow keys will let me move a little. Oh, they do. God bless Apple. Okay. So it's still kind of the same, but whatever. So in theory, we have just created our own lower thirds. Yes, I could make it smaller and put title, but at this moment, we're just doing our own little beta lower third test with Riverside. So let's go check it out. We're going to zoom out on our timeline, and then we're going to stretch these bad boys. I wonder if I can highlight them and do them together. Nope, of course not. That would just be too convenient. So let me do this. We're just going to run it. Come on. All right, so clearly you gotta drag. Oh, okay, cool. So that works for that portion. And now I'm gonna do the same with Seth. I'm gonna drag Seth out. I didn't mean it like that, Seth. Okay, so in theory, we have lower thirds. Let's check it out real quick and see what it looks like. Okay. All right. So in in theory, we just successfully added lower thirds. Yay! Good job, Riverside. Now, if we could get some other cool textiles, I guess we could create our own. That's cool too. But this is good. This is good. I don't have to take it back to Premiere to create lower thirds. I already had a various background from where I was house sitting a dog. And so I don't have to go back to do that either. I may almost be able to fully produce this episode in this particular platform. So my thing is, I really like to make super sweet intro for the guests. I might do it here, we'll see, but I do know that I can add the ending because I do have a pretty static ending. So let's go do that while we're here, just to show. I'm so excited. Congratulations, Riverside, on creating lower thirds. Or me, congratulations me on creating lower thirds. That's friggin' cool. If you've not forgotten, you can add your additional assets by just clicking that plus sign and then going to video. It's going to take you to your media library and then go to the videos tab. So Humanity Intro, Humanity Enroll, that is the one that I do. I like to make it tighter by lining things up. So like, let's see what happens here. Boop, boop, boo. Every time. Okay, well, in theory, I'm just gonna, I don't know, I'm blind here, so I'm just gonna see, because it's taking a long time to load and I'm impatient. Come on. Okay, well, we know what it says, so I'm just gonna go ahead and mark off that part. I don't really need to worry about the thank you. And I'm going to remove that section. And then as you can see with the sound waves, it's a little tighter, so that's great. I would play it back, but I'm not sure it's gonna work. All right, well, to be continued. So that is a good way to make things tighter, because if you add assets on your intro and outro, and when you do it, you'll know what I mean, but basically you'll have gaps. And if you kind of decrease the space between the sound waves and the next file, well, that was rude. See, exactly. Straight to the next one. So, oh, very good. Yes, let's get rid of that lower third so it's not on there. That would be smart. All right, we're gonna do that. Let's see. Okay, that's decent. It's not great, but it's decent. Hope you enjoyed this Vanessa the Vivacious versus Riverside. Riverside, you win today. You win, my friend. Ah, goodness. Lower thirds in Riverside. Hallelujah. Have a great day, you guys, and see you next time on Vanessa the Vivacious versus Riverside. Stay tuned for the episode that continues with Vanessa the Vivacious Files. Peace. And welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that little tutorial tidbit review of Riverside. Vanessa versus Riverside. Good Lord. I can't talk today. English is my first language, by the way. However, I hope you enjoyed it. It was my pleasure to bring it to you, and I really hope that Riverside is listening and watching, and I think that they are, because as I said on yesterday's episode, they fixed things really quickly that I've brought up, so that's super awesome. Now, switching gears, again, welcome to Vanessa the Vivacious Files. I have been recording every day from various locations, but in different cities, so as of right now, we are in San Antonio, Texas, so South Texas. We've been all over North Texas, and now we're down south, where the food is good, the music is awesome, and the people are just amazing. So it makes perfect sense that I am the bubbly, lovely person that I am, because the people who raised me, the environment around me, San Antonio is just awesome that way. The reason for today's episode is to discuss what's been going on, what's happening in life, and what's happening in the future. Today, I actually recorded a interview with Russ Hedge over at the Experience Live with Russ and Scott, minus a Scott, and it was amazing. I'm actually going to list the link to the episode in the description of this one so you can go and watch it, but it was pretty awesome. We had some really great conversations, and I really love speaking about the work that I do and also the life that I've lived. So if you're interested to hear more, definitely go check out the episode. Today I have quite a few podcast recordings for Humanity 2.0 podcast. So my workflow is this. I go and I research the guests. I develop really interesting questions around them, but also the standard questions that we have for the show. And then we get after it. And so today, our first guest actually did not make it, which is fine. That totally happens. It actually gives us more time to research who's in the future, or it gives me time to get back to work on some admin things that I might have missed on Monday. Monday is admin day. And so our next guest is actually a TikTok chef, which is super cool. But he's not just a TikTok chef. He's an actual legit chef, and I can't wait to meet him later today. Now, our third guest actually had a cancellation, so we'll follow up with him another time. But what's funny is that this particular business coach speaker, I have his business card, and for some reason, it's been following me. It follows me in my purse, and then sometimes I take it out to clean the purse, and then I find it somewhere else. I put it back in the purse, and it's just been this rotating finding of his card. And there's got to be a purpose behind that, something behind that. But he's a really amazing guy, so I look forward to interviewing him later as well. Now, when it comes to recording days, I've told other podcasters this. If you find that you're recording 6 to 8 episodes a day and you are super exhausted, maybe you're zoning out by like the 5th one or the 4th one, and you feel like you're not really engaged, that's when you know it's time to kind of maybe reduce how many episodes you're doing per day. Because above all, you want to give 100% engagement and quality to the episode that you have your guest on, and they appreciate it as well. So volume is nice, but it's not the answer. The answer is quality and making sure that your guest feels seen and letting them share whatever message or whatever inspirational gift that they have with the world. Let them share it out. Also, something I noticed on some podcasts is that that's all, folks. The host will at times talk way more than the guests. And I think that it's very important to understand that your guest should talk way more than you do. Yes, you lead the conversation, and yes, sometimes you have to navigate the questions and responses might go too long and you have to kind of redirect the conversation. But ultimately, it should be somewhere between like 60-40. Your guest should sign. Your guest should shine 60% of the time, and then you 40%, or maybe even 80-20, whatever you feel is best, but the guest should always have that upper percentage. When it comes to sharing content, a lot of times podcasters interview other podcasters or other business professionals, and I find that, we don't promote each other enough. We don't share the content that we've recorded or that we've been a guest on. So I'm a huge advocate for reposting content that other podcasters have shared once I've been interviewed on their show. At times I'll create a promotional clip, but I also go out of my way to create promotional clips for every guest that I have, whether it's 1 or 5 or 7. I go out of my way to do that. I also create a guest package so that way they have all the links in one document in addition to a folder with assets as well. So I'm really big on making all of the content accessible to the guest, but also taking quality time to invest in that guest and make sure that they are heard. I think that's so important. I've also learned recently that editing, is a big deal. Sometimes people don't want to hear an hour episode and they don't want to hear about the breakfast you had, but they want to hear about someone's humanity. And so cutting out areas that aren't as important, they might be important to you or they might seem valuable to you, but you have to think of your listener and your audience, and also making sure that you don't take the message and chop it up into a totally different message. We never want to manipulate the conversation or the theme that your guest is trying to get across. So there's a balance to that, and hopefully we are being mindful of that balance. And so thank you for coming for my TED Talk on podcasting. It's so funny that I went there, but it's just because I'm recording so much today. I truly love interviewing humanity, as you'll see in that interview I was talking about in the description. I spoke about traveling the country for 4 years, interviewing strangers, thankfully, because of one man who started a docuseries, and then that led to so much opportunity. And so having done that and then taken a year and a half off for burnout, I pivoted to humanity, to where I felt it was a crime against humanity to not share the footage that displays humanity at its best, at its worst. and just allowing us to connect through other people's experiences. So that new Humanity 2.0, what does it look like? Well, it looks like us being more compassionate, empathetic, and actually hearing and seeing each other. I think that if we were able to connect, there would be a lot less problems in the world. So here's hoping Humanity 2.0 will catch on, and we're hoping to go international. So any sponsors out there, definitely reach out. You can go to humanitypod.org. Humanitypod.org is our new website. I'm so happy about that. I had taken the longest time to connect the domain, and I had the domain forever, and I just didn't connect it. It was sitting on a temp site. But anyway, it has a home, humanitypod.org. And if you're interested on more about me and my work as my production company or me personally, you can go to vanessathevivacious.com, and you'll find all of my social platform links there. Love Linktree. Linktree is the best when it comes to putting all of your sites and all of your work into one place where people can just go and find everything they need. So yeah, Linktree, awesome. In talking on other podcasts and being a guest, you tend to reflect a lot. You reflect on your work, you reflect on your life experience, and then you turn that around and you offer it to the audience. I've never been afraid to share my personal stories or to share stories about failing or stories about succeeding, because I think that it touches whoever is listening. You know, there may be someone who just needs that extra push, or someone that needs to hear that you failed horribly, but then you got back up and you went back after it, and now you're doing well, or you succeeded. But the journey is all the difference, and to share the journey with someone else is so important. On a personal level, I've been working through, I guess, figuring out where I want to live. I have an opportunity to move to New York, and waiting to find out if that's happening. If not, then it could be California, it could be Washington, it could be anywhere. So if you have any ideas on where I should live that's creative and naturey and beautiful, let me know. And affordable. That's kind of hard to find. So yeah, I'm dealing with figuring out where I'm going to live, and that's a big deal. I don't think we've ever really considered how big of a deal it is to be fully happy and to be fully engaged with where you live. I've been in Airbnbs, I've been in hotels, I've been traveling, which I'm used to, but it's really nice to have a home. It's really nice to have somewhere for my dog to be as well. My poor little baby, Elizabeth Taylor, she's been traveling with me this whole time, and I'm pretty sure she's exhausted. So I just do my best to make everywhere I go a home for her. I have been doing all right medically. Of course, as you know, I have some medical issues going on, but I am going through it with grace and resilience, and, you know, God's got us, so there's nothing to worry about, just got to maintain. It's just so funny how when I first found out that I had cancer, I just kept on living like nothing was happening, and then when I started to feel the, you know, I guess like not really the effects, but just the symptoms more so, then I got to well, I understood that life is not the same, and that I needed to modify my schedule. I needed to take more me time to eat, sleep, and work out, and do all the things that we typically need to do, but we may not do because we're so busy. And so I've started to incorporate all of these wonderful self-care things and mindful activities. And so I feel, and it's going to sound really weird, but it kind of feels as though cancer has kind of given me the opportunity to actually live and be mindful about how I'm living, but also aware of life and the fragility and the beautiful aspect of being human and being in this world at this time. We get the one visit, right? We get the one experience. And so being able to understand that and to be aware that you have limitless potential and you can really do anything if we work hard, if we seek that passion day in, day out, however you can. If you have a job, then you just work around it and you just make it happen. But you totally can. That's the point, is that you can make it happen, and that you are worth the struggle, you're worth the work that's put in to make things happen. Some people have things happen overnight, and some have things happen over several nights, but that's not the point. The point is that those people lived, and they appreciate their experiences, and they utilize them as power to propel yourself forward. So I like to say that when you're in a bad spot and you're not sure how you're going to get through something, or you're worried about something in the future, all you have to do is turn around. Turn around and look at all of the past things that you've been through and that you've survived, and things that you thought you would not survive, but you totally did. And that's the answer right there, is that you survived and you will survive anything ahead of you. So I think that's a great comfort and also a great motivator. When it comes to the work that I'm working on, I have several irons in the fire as far as video, film, writing, all sorts of things. So definitely stay tuned for more of that. As far as Riverside is concerned, Riverside, I feel, has been having some technical issues, and so it's made it a little bit hard to publish. But overall, I think that they have an excellent trajectory with what they're doing, and the capability to publish this episode straight from Riverside. That is very valuable. And I really enjoy that I can upload my assets and then just, slap on the intro, outro, bam, I'm done. I also really like that you can go into captions and, excuse me, I need a water. I also enjoy water. Well, I didn't used to, but I do now. So a lot of changes have happened over the last 4 months. More than that, actually. I can't even tell you, but if I sit and think about it long enough, I can pinpoint the day where just everything changed. There are many dates where things changed, or I had to modify the way I was living. And what I get from all of these dates and all of these really major life changes is that I'm still here. I'm still here, and I have the capability to do more. Every time I've been faced with a wall or a problem, I've never once cowered down. I've always said, let's do this. Or like Al Bundy, let's rock, right? I don't believe in standing still. I don't believe in not surviving. I just don't. I know that we all have these feelings sometimes where we're in a dark place, but then there's this like little light or this little spark that tells you, no, you have work to do. You don't have time for this. And that little spark is everything. I feel like if we didn't have that little spark, then yes, we'd be in a worse place, but still, even then you'd get through it, So I highly encourage you to develop your sparks more, take that time for self-care, and just go for whatever it is that you're passionate about right now. Now is the time to do it. So go forth and conquer, friends. And we'll see you guys tomorrow in another episode of Vanessa the Vivacious Files, along with Vanessa the Vivacious versus Riverside. And above all, join us next time on Vanessa the Vivacious podcast. And don't forget to be vivacious.